Ever feel like your social media ads are just shouting into the void? Especially, when you're not working with a massive budget.
Hmm.
You see competitors, it seems like they have endless resources, and you just wonder how they pull off those really captivating campaigns.
Yeah, it can be intimidating.
Totally. So today's deep dive mission is really to understand how businesses and individuals too who have smaller marketing budgets can actually run successful social media ads, get real results without breaking the bank.
Right, making every dollar count.
Exactly. We'll be digging into proven tactics for these high-impact campaigns on, well, a limited budget, covering everything from audience targeting right through to creative testing and cost-efficient bidding.
A lot to cover there.
Definitely. And speaking of giving your social presence a bit of a boost, before you even launch those paid ads, maybe check out rapidboost.net. Yeah, they can help sort of turbocharge your social profiles, get you some targeted engagement, which can give you a credibility lift, maybe attract some organic growth. Basically, make your ads potentially even more effective right from the start.
Interesting. So
Right.
kind of warming up the engine before you hit the gas.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So over the next little while, we'll break down the essential steps: setting clear goals, really getting to grips with your audience, crafting compelling content, mastering those budget-friendly strategies.
And the testing optimization measurement piece too. Can't forget that.
Absolutely critical. The whole goal here is to equip you with actionable tactics. Turn those budget constraints into, well, maybe even a competitive advantage.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, let's unpack this. When you're trying to make a small ad budget punch above its weight, where does someone even begin?
Well, the very first thing, and our source material really hammers this home, is building a super strong foundation. And that absolutely starts with clarity. Crystal clear clarity on what you want to accomplish. You've got to define your advertising goals with, like, laser focus.
Laser focus. Okay, like what specifically?
Well, are you trying to build brand awareness? Just getting your name out there.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you want to drive traffic to your website, generate leads. Or are you focused squarely on direct sales?
Right, different end games.
Totally different. And each of those goals is going to naturally lead you to different choices.
Yeah.
Ad format, which platforms to use, and, crucially, how you'll measure success in the end.
Yeah.
It's not just about running ads. It's making sure those ads are strategically pushing you towards a specific outcome.
That makes total sense. So if your main aim is just, say, getting more people familiar with your brand, you'd probably focus on metrics like reach, impressions, just how many eyeballs saw it.
Exactly. Reach and impressions.
But if the goal is getting people to actually buy something, you're going to be way more interested in tracking actions, like signups or, actual purchases.
Precisely. The intended result really dictates the whole approach.
Okay.
And once those goals are locked in, the next absolutely vital step is understanding who you're trying to talk to.
The audience.
Yep. Our source called this building detailed buyer personas. And look, this goes way beyond just basic demographics like age and location.
Okay, so more than just males aged 25-34.
Oh, much more. We're talking psychographics. Their interests, their values, their pain points, what keeps them up at night,
Mm-hmm.
and also their behaviors online. Where do they hang out? What are their buying habits? Things like that.
Okay, so how does someone actually build these personas? Sounds like quite a bit of research work.
It can seem like it at first, but there are some smart ways. Our source suggests starting with what you already have. Look at your existing customers.
Right.
Maybe send out some surveys, dig into your social media analytics, check your website traffic data. What's it telling you?
Use the data you've got.
Exactly. Plus, platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn have built-in tools. Audience insights on Facebook, LinkedIn analytics. These can really help you sharpen that picture.
Ah.
The more precise you get with who your ideal customer is, the less money you'll waste showing ads to people who just aren't interested.
That's a great way to put it, using a spotlight instead of a floodlight, kind of.
Perfect analogy.
So you've got a good sense of who you want to reach. How do you pick the right platform? There are so many social media options now.
Yeah, that's where strategic platform selection is key. Not every platform is right for every audience or every budget.
Makes sense.
Like the source highlights, if you're targeting, say, Gen Z with very visual products,
Yeah.
then Instagram, maybe TikTok. Those might be your best bet.
Right. Very visual.
But if you're trying to reach professionals, B2B maybe, then LinkedIn is probably going to give you a much better return.
Okay.
It really comes down to putting your limited cash where your ideal customer is most likely to be actually active and paying attention.
And the source even had that great example, didn't it? The yoga instructor in
Oh,
Austin.
yeah, that was a good one.
Doubled signups, cut costs in half just by focusing on geo-targeted Instagram stories ads instead of spreading the budget thin everywhere.
Exactly. It really shows the power of that focused approach.
So, okay, goals defined, audience understood, platform chosen. What's next? How do you actually get their attention when they're just scrolling endlessly?
Ah, yes. The scroll-stopping moment.
Yeah.
This leads us to crafting content that's attention-grabbing, but also, crucially, value-packed.
Value pack.
Our source is pretty blunt here. You often have less than 3 seconds, maybe even less.
Wow, 3 seconds.
Yeah, to make that first connection, stop the scroll. So your visuals, they need to be striking. Text overlays, clear, instant video. That first second or two is absolutely critical.
You really can't afford to be ignored.
Not for a second.
So just having a pretty picture isn't enough then?
Not nearly enough. You need to immediately signal why they should care, why stop scrolling for your ad. And a really effective way to do this is focusing on the benefits for the user, not just listing product features.
Ah, okay. Benefits over features.
Exactly. The source had that water bottle example. Instead of just saying BPA free,
Which is a feature.
right, the ad said safer for family, safer for planet, much more powerful, and it resulted in a 37% jump in click-through rate.
Wow. That's significant. Just changing the focus.
It taps into values, concerns. It's about the customer, not just the product.
That's such a smart shift. Thinking about the gain for the customer. Now, what about actually making this content? Does it need fancy production? Big budgets?
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
Which is great news for small budgets. Our source points to the power of user-generated content, UGC, and testimonials.
Okay, UGC, like customer photos.
Exactly. Customer photos, reviews they've written, maybe quick video testimonials they've filmed themselves. Think about it. It's authentic. It's persuasive.
Yeah, you trust other customers more than the brand itself sometimes.
Totally. It builds trust without needing a fancy studio. You're turning happy customers into your best advocates.
That's clever. Almost like free marketing in a way.
Pretty much. And then there's this idea of native content.
Native content.
Yeah, basically tailoring your ads so they feel like they belong on the platform you're using.
Ah, so they don't stick out like a sore thumb as an ad.
Precisely. A super polished YouTube ad might feel weird on TikTok, right? Where it's all about short, vertical, maybe less formal stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And concise text works better on Twitter, whereas LinkedIn might appreciate an infographic or something more detailed.
Okay.
When your ads blend in naturally, feel native, they just tend to perform better. You get more bang for your buck.
Okay, so we've got the strategy down. We're creating great native content. Now, how do we make sure it reaches the right people without burning through our cash? This is where targeting and bidding come in, right?
Yes, exactly. And this is where mastering budget-friendly targeting and bidding is absolutely crucial. One of the most powerful tactics, especially on a tight budget, is retargeting.
Retargeting, those are the ads that kind of follow you around, right?
Yep, those are ones, they're shown specifically to users who've already interacted with your brand somehow.
Like visited the website.
Visited your site, maybe engaged with a social post, but they haven't quite converted yet, haven't made the purchase, or signed up.
Okay. Are they actually effective? They feel a bit persistent sometimes.
They can be. But yes, according to our source, very effective. Users who are retargeted are significantly more likely to convert.
Really? How much more likely?
One stat mentioned was around 70% more likely, which makes sense, right? They already know you a bit. You're not starting cold.
Yeah, that does make sense. Less friction.
Exactly. You set it up using tracking pixels on your website or features like Facebook custom audiences to target past visitors or engagers. It's a really efficient way to spend your ad money on a warm audience.
That sounds super efficient. What other targeting tricks are good for small budgets?
Another really effective one is hyper-granular targeting.
Hyper-granular. Sounds intense.
It just means getting really specific, narrowing down your audience using a combination of criteria.
Okay.
So beyond broad interests, think specific geolocations, maybe job titles, industries, even the type of device they're using.
Oh.
By layering these filters, you reach a much higher quality audience, and often this means lower costs because the platforms actually reward relevance.
So instead of just dog owners, maybe dog owners in Seattle who read specific blogs and use iPhones, that kind of specific.
Precisely. The tighter you're targeting, the less budget you waste on people who are unlikely to ever buy from you.
Got it. Less waste, more impact.
Exactly. And then you've got bidding strategies. Manual versus automatic, that's always a question.
Yeah, that feels a bit like the control panel with lots of confusing buttons. What's the advice there?
Generally, the recommendation is to start with automatic bidding,
Hmm.
especially if you're new or just launching a campaign.
Let the algorithm do the work initially.
Pretty much. Let the platform's AI gather data and optimize towards your goal. Then, once you have some performance data,
Then maybe take the wheel.
exactly, then you can experiment with manual bids. Maybe you want more control over cost, or you want to bid higher to reach a really valuable audience segment you've identified. Use the initial data to make smarter choices later.
Okay, that makes sense. Start auto, learn, then maybe go manual if needed. What about showing ads only at certain times? Day parting. Is that worthwhile?
Absolutely. Our source calls it day parting or ad scheduling. Think about it. When is your ideal customer actually online and likely to engage?
Right. Probably not at 3 a.m. for most businesses.
Exactly. Why pay for impressions then? Check your analytics website, social phase it, see when your peaks in engagement are, schedule your ads for those windows, avoid wasting money on those off-peak times.
Smart. Be there when they are.
Precisely.
Okay, so we're being super strategic with targeting, timing, bidding. But how do we know if it's working? That's where testing comes in, yeah.
Absolutely. Relentless testing is non-negotiable, especially with a limited budget.
Yeah.
You have to figure out what resonates with your audience and what doesn't.
Okay.
And the golden rule is A/B testing. Test one variable at a time.
One thing only.
Yep. So maybe test 2 headlines, but keep the image and call to action the same, or test 2 images with the same headline. Change only one thing so you know exactly what caused the difference in performance.
Yeah. Isolates the impact. Makes sense.
Right. Run short tests, small budget batches.
Mm.
The source mentions a Facebook guideline of maybe 1,000 impressions per variation for statistical significance, basically. Enough data to trust the result.
Okay.
Then kill the underperformers fast, put more budget behind the winners. It's a constant cycle. Test, learn, iterate.
And it's not just the ad creative you test, right? You mentioned placements, too.
Definitely. Don't just hit all placements and hope for the best. Experiment. Test Instagram stories versus Facebook newsfeed. Try the right column. Maybe Messenger ads work for you.
Different spots can perform differently?
Hugely differently. You might find certain placements give you much cheaper clicks or better engagement for your specific audience. Like the source noted, some small businesses find stories cheaper than the feed. You have to test to find those efficiencies.
So it's about finding those sweet spots within the platform. And all this testing, the decisions, it's driven by data, not just gut feelings.
100% data-driven. Monitor your analytics regularly, daily, ideally. Look for patterns. Do they like video more than carousels? Are afternoons better than mornings?
Let the numbers talk.
Exactly. Base your decisions on what the data is telling you, not just what you think should work.
Okay, so constant testing, learning from data. What other smart optimization tactics can really stretch a small budget?
Okay, a really powerful one is using lookalike audiences.
Lookalikes, how do they work?
Basically, you take a group of your best converters, maybe your email list, people who've bought something, people who really engage with your page.
Your existing good customers?
Exactly, your seed audience. You give that list to the platform, and its AI goes out and finds other users who share similar characteristics and behaviors.
Wow, so it finds more people like your best customers.
Precisely. It's a super efficient way to expand your reach to a really relevant audience without just guessing or targeting too broadly. Leverages AI smartly.
That sounds incredibly useful. What about more sort of automated help?
Yeah, you can use automated rules on the platforms too.
Rules like if this, then that.
Kind of. You can set rules like if an ad's click-through rate drops below X, pause it, or if the cost per conversion goes above Y, lower the bid, or even shift budget automatically to the best performing ad set.
So it manages things for you based on performance.
Exactly. It helps prevent you from accidentally overspending on ads that just aren't working. Acts like a little automated assistant watching your back.
That sounds helpful for staying on budget.
Definitely. And another key tactic, optimize for micro conversions.
Micro conversions. Smaller steps.
Yeah. Instead of always going straight for the big sale from the first click, focus on smaller actions. Things that are easier and cheaper to get.
Like what?
Like clicks to the website, video views, downloading a guide, signing up for a newsletter.
Okay.
These build engagement, nurture leads, you guide them down the funnel gradually. It often makes that initial ad spin much more effective in the long run.
So building the relationship step by step, not asking for marriage on the first date.
Haha, exactly. Perfect analogy.
And when people do click these ads, where should they land? Just the website homepage?
Oh, definitely not. Huge mistake potential there. Our source really stresses keeping the funnel tight.
Type funnel. Okay.
Direct ad clicks to specific landing pages that match the ad.
Makes sense.
If the ad is about blue widgets, the landing page should be about blue widgets, not the home page where they have to hunt for them.
Right. Reduces friction again.
Massively. The source suggested it can boost conversion rates by up to 50% just by using relevant landing pages.
Wow. 50%.
Yeah. So make those pages simple, clear benefits, strong call to actions, tell them exactly what to do next.
Okay. Super clear. If the ad promises X, the page delivers X immediately.
You got it.
All right. So we've run our targeted, optimized campaigns. How do we know if we're actually getting a good return? What metrics really matter?
Right. The measurement piece. Absolutely critical. Measure, learn, and then scale what works. You need to track the right key performance indicators, KPIs.
KPIs. Okay. Which ones are key for small budgets?
You want to watch cost per click, CPC, what you pay per click.
Yeah.
Click-through rate, CTR percentage who click after seeing the ad. Conversion rate percentage who take the desired action after clicking. Cost per acquisition, CPA, how much it costs you to get a customer or lead.
Okay.
And the big one, return on ad spend, ROAS. How much revenue are you generating for every dollar you spend on ads?
ROAS. That sounds like the bottom line.
It pretty much is. You need to set benchmarks for these and compare how different campaigns are doing over time.
So it's not just about likes and shares then, those vanity metrics.
Exactly. Likes are nice, but they don't pay the bills. Focus on the metrics tied to your actual business goals.
Got it.
And after each campaign, do a debrief. What worked, why, what didn't.
Learn from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which audiences converted best? Which ad formats? Use the platform analytics, use UTM links, use Google Analytics to really trace where success came from.
And once you find something that is working really well, how do you scale it up? Just dump a load more money on it.
No, the source advises against sudden big jumps. Scale gradually.
Gradually, how much?
Once you've got a winner or successful ad, good targeting, increase the budget maybe 10–20% at a time. Keep a close eye on performance. Does ROAS stay consistent? Does CPA stay low?
Okay, small steps. Why not a big jump?
A big, sudden budget increase can sometimes mess with the platform's learning phase, oddly enough. It can even make your costs go up unexpectedly. Slow and steady wins the race here. Aim for sustainable growth.
The source even had that encouraging case study, right? The e-commerce brand.
Yeah, the one that started with a $50 test.
And turned it into $900 in sales, then scaled up to $1,000 a month while keeping costs low. That's really inspiring.
It really shows it's possible. Smart, data-driven, iterative approach. Even small budgets can lead to big results over time.
So, quick recap then. The key takeaways for running successful social ads on a small budget. Start lean, super focused.
Yep.
Create compelling, authentic content that connects. Test everything methodically, one variable at a time.
Crucial.
Analyze the data constantly to optimize
Data.
And scale what works, but do it gradually and strategically.
You nailed it. It's really about making smarter choices, focusing resources where they deliver results. Not just throwing money blindly.
Yeah.
It comes down to precision, persistence, and purposeful creativity.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. It really drives home that you don't need a monster budget to make a real impact with social ads. It's much more about being smart and data-driven.
Absolutely. It levels the playing field quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Think about just one specific micro-conversion you could start optimizing for today.
Just one small thing.
Yeah. How could improving just that one small step create a positive ripple effect through your whole marketing effort? And maybe, what small focused test will you run this week? Just one test to gain one crucial insight about your audience. Start small, learn fast.